Hey boy, hey boy. Hey, should we go and earn a beer today? Yeah, let's do some farm work. All right. Well, here's how we're going to earn a beer today. The tree falling down, took out a bit of the fence. Anyway, it's going to give me a nice bit of firewood for winter. Let's get into it. Whew. Getting there. Oh, I think I might have earned 2 beers already. Anyway, let's keep going. Well, happy Home Brew Wednesday, number 5. Seems this little spot on the back veranda is becoming my winter Home Brew Wednesday location. It's just gorgeous in the sun. We had a pretty rainy weekend, so now the sunshine's come out. It's just glorious. I earned this beer. You would have seen a bit of chainsaw footage just a few minutes ago, so it's all stacked in the woodshed. Satisfying feeling. Bit of work, cold beer to go. I'm not sure if I showed this in the other videos before, but this is a pale ale that I made that turned out somehow more like a dunkel or something. Lost a bit of the head just now, but it's tasty as, I tell you. Yeah. So this week, that cider that I did has aged a little bit for the week, and what a difference a week makes, huh? It had a bit of a nose to it, which I think now was a sulfur flavour, which I've read that can dissipate after a little bit of time. The yeast seems to clean that up. And because I didn't pasteurize it or kill it off with chemicals, the yeast is still active in there, I guess. So, but it's all gone. Still dry, but it's actually really nice. My wife is loving it. Thanks, dog. So that's turned out really good. Got to put another batch down this week. I've had a request for another 10 litres. I have said that I've been doing a few kits lately. I know it's a controversial thing, actually, kits versus all grain, isn't it? But in my mind, the aim is to get a nice tasting beer that you like. Even better if you can share it with your mates and they like it as well. And how you get there doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, the purists are going to talk about all grain, and then there's just simple kits and whatever. But at the end of the day, as long as you turn out good beer, who cares how you made it? I find the kit's an interesting experiment. They're simple, you know, it's a bit quicker sometimes for sure, but it's fun trying to mess around with those as well, you know. I don't just make the kit on its own, so adding extra, you know, partial mashes and different bits and pieces, it's pretty cool. I don't have a mill just yet. It'll come in the next month or two, I'm sure. So I have to order my grains. I've got to sort of prepare for them. What I usually do is order a few selections. I choose what I want to brew. I order it online and they come with them all crushed and ready to go. So I have to think about that, and when I run out of the batch of those, then sometimes kits are easy just to chuck in and start a bit. My local home brew shop's a bit crap for grain, so I'm sure when I have a mill and then I start ordering 25 kilo bags of grain, I've got that sitting there that all grain brews will somehow be a bit easier anyway. But this week, so what I was getting to is I did a Canadian blonde. I've seen heaps of reviews of that online. Actually, there's a bunch of videos out there. I know Craig Tube did one. He talked it up a fair bit. So I thought I'd try that. And then on the Cooper's website, and I'm going to say this twice now, I guess, because it's in another video, that they actually have one called a blushing blonde, where they go and add some berries to that Canadian blonde in the secondary. And I thought that sounds pretty interesting. I know Chatham Brewing just did a berry wheat beer, so sort of had that on my mind. Goddamn memory card got full again. So where was I? I said I'm not sure if that Canadian blonde is going to be okay or not. Never brewed it before, and when I sampled it, you'll see me talk about this again in a minute. When the first taste was, yeah, I don't know, it's just unique. Hard to tell whether it was off or not. Sometimes, you sometimes get a funny taste and you're not sure. Let it age just for a week or two and it'll all be fine. So it's just a different type of beer. Anyway, I went ahead and chucked in the berries anyway, regardless. So it could end up being just a total homebrew failure, or who knows, in between. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, that's the beauty of the kit, though, like it's, what was it, $12 or something for the kit, a couple of bucks for the berries. It's no big deal. It's the fun of it anyway. Have a crack. So anyway, so I might repeat myself a little bit because I put this footage together over a few days. So there's a little bit of a footage about the Canadian blonde when I put it down. Then there's me chucking the berries in, and that's about it, I guess. So I hope you don't mind me chucking a little bit of footage about life on the farm at the front. This community is pretty cool. It's mostly about brewing, obviously, but I find it's always interesting to see a little bit what's going on in people's lives in the background. So anyway, if you want me to stop putting shit in about snakes and my farm life and whatever, put it in the comments, but otherwise you might get a little bit of it every now and then. So yeah. Alright, hope you're all having a good week. Happy Home Brew Wednesday. Cheers. I'm just going to sit out here in the sunshine for a while and maybe have another one or two of these. Hey, so just doing a bit of footage on a pretty simple brew that I'm doing, but so I'm going to try something a bit different. It's another kit brew, and one that I've seen quite a few reviews on, and people reckon it's pretty good. It's the Cooper's Canadian Blonde. So most of the Coopers are pretty good, but the Canadian Blonde one, they reckon, is supposed to be pretty good on its own almost. I'm guessing it's a pretty light beer, but I'm thinking it's going to be a good beer to use as a base for your experimental beers. So I've seen good old Chatham Brewing did a wheat beer with some raspberries added to it, and I've got half a kilo of frozen mixed berries in the freezer. Coincidentally, I thought I'd mix them to this. Coincidentally, I went onto the Cooper's website. 1 second. Went onto the Cooper's website, and they've got a heap of recipes where you can experiment with their kits. And one of them is exactly this, with half a kilogram of mixed berries. They call it their blushing blonde. So it's worth actually having a look on the Cooper's website, coopers.com.au, and then go into their recipes. If you don't mind brewing a few kits here and there and having a bit of a play, their website's got some really cool ideas. Sometimes mixing 2 kits together to make some brown ales and bits and pieces. So what I think I might do, oh, excuse me, what I might do over the next few months is actually do exactly that, brew a few of their experimental recipes, and there's not a lot to video making them. It's pretty bloody simple. I think there's so much info out there anyway. I'll do a quick bit of footage. Most interesting bit will be adding the berries, and then I'll do a tasting at the end and let you know how it turned out. Right, I'm just boiling up some water. I do the kits a little differently. They recommend, the basic way is just to heat up 2 or 3 litres and then chuck the extract in with some whatever you're using, whether it's sugar, malt. With this one, what I like to do, I'm on tank water here on the farm. I drink that water straight out the tap anyway without doing anything to it. But with the beer, just to be safe, because I'm going to ferment it, there is a chance there could be something in the water. I boil it, so like what I'm doing here is I just raise up, do 20, well, I'm going to make a 19 litre batch to make it a little bit stronger, so I'm doing 23 litres because I lose a little bit through the boil. Then I'll boil it. In the kit, what I'm going to add, I'm using actually Cooper's Brew Enhancer 2. Don't normally go that way, but I think I want to go fairly dry beer on this. So with berries. So and then add a little bit more maltodextrin, and I'm just going to steep a little bit of specialty grains, some wheat malt, and some carapils, just for the fun. And that's about it. I'm not going to hop it. I'm just going to go with whatever hops are in here because I'm going with this berry beer, and I'm following the Coopers. Other than those couple of little extra specialty grains, Coopers just say the kit. They actually say Coopers Brewing Blend 1, but I just happen to have a box of the 2, so it'll have it's got a tiny bit. It's got like, I think it's got, I don't know, 100 grams or something of malt extract in there, so it's bugger all, won't make much difference. So anyway, using that, I boil it all up, chuck the malt in, then put the extract in, give it a 5-minute boil, then I'll cool it, and then I'll probably just cube it for the night. And then tomorrow I'm just going to use the Cooper's yeast that comes with it, and I've got 2 other packets of this that I'm going to chuck in, so I'll chuck in 3 of them because it'll be, by the time I put the extracts in, it'll be about a 5.5% beer. So alright, I've got to go. There's a kid screaming at me. I'll see you soon. Right, so I've made a Canadian blonde beer, which is a Cooper's kit because it's a bit of an experiment, and now I'm going to add some 500 grams of mixed berries. So it's actually a recipe off the Cooper's website, and they call it blushing blonde. So I pretty much followed it straight away. So the beer has been fermenting for 5 days, so it should be ready. I'm going to rack it over into the secondary and then adding the berries. And the way I'm trying to do the berries is putting them into a brand new clean dishcloth, and I'm going to wrap this up basically and put an elastic band around it, and then I'm going to chuck this into the fermenter. So I'm going to do this twice and then throw it in the fermenter. So I'll show you it going into the fermenter in a second. So it's actually got strawberries, blueberries, blackberries and raspberries. So 30% strawberries, 30% blueberries, and then 20% blackberries and 50% raspberries. So a bit of mix of everything. Cool. Alright, well, I sampled the beer. It's nearly finished fermenting. It's down to 1.014. I've never brewed this Canadian blonde before, so I'm not really sure the flavour, but it had I'm not sure if there's an off flavour in there or not yet, but we'll see. Anyway, gonna go for it. 2 little berry bombs going in, for better or worse. Beer may never be the same again.